Hello and welcome back to European Researchers Showcase. My name's Sam and I am your host as part of today's event that's taking part as part of Intersections, an event taking place across Europe, whether it's part of European Research Showcase or also City Nature Challenge, which is a European-wide or worldwide citizen science project that is ongoing this weekend. We're back for another very, very quick chat with a researcher to find out who they are, what they do, why they're awesome, and why you should find out a little bit more about them. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to bring them in very, very quickly. So please give up for Dagmar Weduwen. Hey
Hello,
Dagmar,
everyone.
how are you doing?
Hello. I'm all right. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's early on a Friday morning when we're recording this,
It
so
is, it is.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm tired and coffee number two already.
Um,
Yeah.
I haven't had my second coffee yet, so apologies for whatever I might end up saying.
Well, my first question that I ask everybody on these is who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, well, my name is Dagmar Weduwen. I am a PhD student at the University of St. Andrews, where I study social learning and group dynamics in archerfish. Also a science communicator, does a lot of Dungeons and Dragons type science communication, and have brought that into my thesis as well. So
So,
that's fun.
how do you get to that point in your career? How do you well, first of all, how do you get to be working with archerfish, and then how do you
Yeah.
get to the D&D things as well?
Yeah. Both good questions. The first one is primarily just a fluke. I was doing a master's at the University of St. Andrews studying something completely different. I was studying the secondary dispersal mechanics of sycamore seeds. So essentially what happens to the seeds once they're on the ground, where do they go from there? And I was looking for PhDs because I really like research. So I wanted to keep researching. And I saw this cool project advertised working with archerfish, which I'd never heard of before. I looked them up and they're fantastic because they hunt by spitting water at insects that are like 10 feet away from them, like up in the trees. And I looked at who the supervisors were, and the first name on the supervisor list was the guy whose office my desk was next to in the department. So I just went and knocked on his door and was like, hello, I'm going to be a problem for you for the next like 4 to 5 years. And we get along really well. I went and saw the archerfish down in the lab, and it was really exciting. And yeah, eventually I got lucky. I was chosen to have the project funded, and that's how I ended up working with archerfish. The Dungeons and Dragons part comes after like 4 years of bothering my supervisors. Um, and me deciding, you know what, I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love science communication. Why not combine the two? And Sam, you know a bit about this as well. You are a large part of the Dungeons and Dragons science communication stuff I do. Um,
Not given, it's not spoilers or anything. But
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, it's something that we do a
Yes.
lot of together. I had a question just coming
Yeah.
back to like
Yes.
sycamore seeds,
Yes.
archerfish. It's a
Yes.
slight change. So like
Yeah.
how did that work for you?
It was fine. I did birds before the sycamore seeds, so I did have experience working with animals. That was again a completely different type of biology that I was doing with the birds. I was looking at climate change and nest building behavior in blue tits. I think as long as you're interested in the topic, the skills you get researching one thing are easily applicable to other things. It's just a matter of figuring out what is the question you're interested in and how am I going to solve it with these skills that I already have. Um,
So plants, sycamore seeds,
yes,
birds, fish.
yes, yes.
Do you need to like tick off something else in the animal kingdom next, like after PhD?
I think either we're going mammals or like mollusks
Or fungus? You could go completely left
or
field.
fungus.
Yeah.
We can go fungus.
Mm,
That's a whole different category
yeah.
still. That would might be fun.
So
Um,
what does an average day look like for you, whether it's with the fish or whether it's with D&D? Is there an average day?
no. If I'm doing experiments, it's usually go into the lab in the morning, spend hours looking at fish, not exactly doing the thing you want them to be doing, because that's just what animal behavior research is like. And then leaving again in the late afternoon, essentially. Looking after the fish as well, cleaning tanks, feeding them, keeping them vaguely entertained, though that's difficult to judge with fish sometimes. Um, when I'm not doing experiments, it's more a matter of, sitting down, analysis, reading, writing, which I intersperse throughout the day. I'm not good at sitting still for a long time. So it's also like, going and chatting to people and going for walks to actually process all of the information that I've read or analyzed before I can sit down and write it. The D&D stuff, that's a bit more regular. That's, a few hours every week planning some things, coming up with interesting Dungeons and Dragons adventures that have links to science, and then sitting down on a Wednesday evening with Sam and several other people, and then the plan completely goes off the rails because they look at my plan for what I've come up with for the session and toss it out the window. And then it's just a lot of improv, which is also really fun. Um,
But if
yeah, that's basically it.
it feels like that's kind of analogous for like science research, right? You make a
Yes,
plan, you have
yes,
an idea of how it's going
yes.
to go,
Hmm.
you try and carry out the experiment and go, wow,
Yep.
that didn't go exactly how I planned at all.
No, no, I spent September through March, with what I first in September was a very well-designed experiment, last experiment of my PhD, looking at can archerfish learn socially from one another. And then the fish decided they hate the custom-built fish tank I got them for the experiment, and they refuse to do anything. So that was 3 months of me trying to figure out what was wrong, how I could fix it. In December, realizing they don't like this tank, so I should just do the experiment in the tanks they normally live in. And then in January, restarting the experiment, realizing it couldn't be done in the tanks that they were in, adjusting the plan, realizing the fish weren't doing the thing that I was expecting them to do, and adjusting the plan again. So yes, my fish and my D&D players are very similar.
Read into that what you will about the people who play D&D with Dagmar.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you would like public audiences to know about your work? If there's one thing you could tell them.
I think for all that I complain about archerfish sometimes and that they never do what I want them to do, they are very smart. Fish are very intelligent. We don't think they're intelligent because it's not human-like intelligence, but there's things my archerfish can do that I'm incapable of. Things that they've adapted to do. Especially with things which for humans we would need to have a complex, good understanding of physics. And these fish do it like that with, a brain this big. Whereas our brains are massive and I can't do the things they're doing. Um, so don't underestimate animals just because they don't act like humans, is I think what mainly has come out of my research that I want people to know. Um,
And like maybe we can round it out by saying that actually you think more that humans act more like archerfish as long as it's in a Dungeons and Dragons setting and
yes,
without some
also
of that.
that, yeah. Hmm.
Thank you so much for coming to have this very, very brief chat with us. Where can people find out more about you or keep up with the work that you do?
So you can find me on Twitter at DJ Weduwen. You can also find me every Wednesday on Twitch at twitch.tv/science and sorcery if you want to keep up with the Dungeons and Dragons shenanigans. Um, and I have a website, dagmarderweduwen.com, which I will update soon. I'm also looking for jobs, so if you've got one, let me know.
You're the second person that we've had doing these going, I'm looking for a job. This is maybe a chance to advertise it. Dagmar, thank you so much for coming and being part of the European Research Showcase. For anyone watching at home, please do hit the like or the share or the retweet button wherever you're watching it, whether it's on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Please do like and share. And ask any questions as well. If you've got anything that you want to know more about, drop them below and we'll try and get back to you. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of the European Research Showcase. There's loads still to come. It's going to be great fun. Enjoy the rest of your day.